So this is Whirlwind. The intent here is going to be kind of giving you a taste of it and letting you decide whether you want to look further. The stuff I'm doing is super new. The stuff that Docker is doing is only new. So they have a lot of materials available, and I encourage you, if you like serverless FAASt, you want to know what it means, or at least one person's view, check it out, and then I'll describe what I'm doing, and I certainly plan to have more materials, but if you're not comfortable with what they're doing, don't bother. So I like to come up with silly names and investigate stuff. So my name here is FAASted, so how do you put your function as a service on a diet? So I described Wepoq and OVN yesterday. And Wepoq and OVN, it might not have been clear, I intended it to have a server side and a client side. I emphasized the client side yesterday, and today is the server side. And hopefully, they can be used meaningfully independent of each other. What did I do? Background. I press this key. Okay. This is a busy slide. I apologize. The key takeaways are, and I'm riffing off of some other folks, there potentially is a mismatch between the logical networking model of OVN and the ones that are exposed through the network plugin interfaces of Docker and Kubernetes. That's a possibility even without it. I'm interested in investigating this. And if you don't go through their inner works, there's various ways you can come into them from the outside. And obviously the the Weave folks described, a way just you bridge into them, and they, as far as they're concerned, are just running single node. The approach I chose was, no, don't take my privileges, is to not fight Kubernetes or Docker, let them sit there and then add another VIF next to them for OVN or Wepoq. And I'm calling that the terminology. I love to come up with terms, so it's a next to lay. There's overlays, interlays, underlays, and next to lays. Okay, this picture, the key thing, this is showing the logical topology of a Wepoq server-side app. It maps one-to-one to logical objects in the OVN topology. In the red, other than where I messed up, are routers. Everything that's not in red is a logical switch. And the places where I messed up, don't worry about it. And the key thing here is to look, what we're going to do is we're going to make a call from our browser conceptually to the result of the OVN app. So OVN vote app. So you're voting, you want to know how Hillary's doing, and let's say they're all doing it through this app. So you invoke a get on that endpoint somehow, and what you get back is something that will say Hillary X, Hillary Y. Okay. So how does that happen? So what we're going to do, okay, I'm actually doing good, is we're going to make a request from that browser up to that public site. It's got a DNS, it's ovnapps.com, imaginary. But all the rest of the DNS that's in the private address space, we're tunneling it through the path. So the first thing that gateway has to do is make it into a valid internal FQDN for the OVN cluster. The enhanced 2.7 DNS will resolve it without ever leaving, no real DNS. It's all fake DNS in that private address space. Okay, then it goes into the stuff that Guru has put together and demonstrated with the Kubernetes plugin. And it finally gets to the load-balanced instance, in this case, s3.result. And this comes to the fun part. I'm not an OS guy, but I said, how can I make the dispatch faster? And the way the Docker folks did it was they have an entry point container which just sits there as a stub and then runs the Docker containers. And they use CGI, if any of you remember what that is, to pass the payload through. So I said, well, I want to actually pass the socket to the implementation. So the way you can do that is you can use a trick, and that's basically it. And how am I doing on time? Am I okay? Yeah. Yeah, that's the, so I think, since there's no questions, no time for questions, I really think this is an exciting direction. And I was talking with someone, eventually I'd like to see, we're putting VNFs for inserting inside the flows, but what happens at the end of a flow when you dispatch? There's potentially some interesting enhancements to OVN to provide benefit there.